Oh man, 8 nights away from the showcase of the Immortals, and SmackDown comes to you live from the Mohegan Sun Arena and all that jazz. What's going on? It's the Wrestling After Show for SmackDown today, March 29th, 2024. It's your boy Flobo Boyce, but as always, I'm not alone. I'm being joined by the legend herself, NYC Demon Diva. Isa, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little jet lagged, but I'm good. I came back from Hot Atlanta today. I'm a little tired.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you were in that East time, like Eastern Coast time, and then you're gonna get back to your time. Yeah, you'll be okay.
I'm an old man on the plane. I just go right to bed.
I'm more worried about me going to this 50-degree weather in Philadelphia when it was 100 here today. That's more worrisome.
Actually, that's the reason why I even bother getting tickets. I'm like, outside of Philly in April? No, thank you.
I know. People are saying Minnesota next year. I'm like, please don't.
Right. And also, right now, the guy who's taking time to read a book during this whole thing is George Hermoza. George, how's it going?
Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson are the same people?
Yes, and Batman is Bruce Wayne. Did you hear about that?
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here. This is going to be fun, you guys.
Are you going to WrestleMania, George, at all?
I'm going to go to WrestleMania, the one at home, at home. I'm going to be watching WrestleMania from home. Although I found out a couple days ago that I am going to be working Sunday, so I will not be watching WrestleMania. The first WrestleMania I'm not watching live since 2011. And I'm very sad about that.
You're broke like me.
I will be sad too.
Yeah. Oh, Issa's going to be there. You're going to be there, though. You're going to be
I will
in
be
the
there.
crowd.
I mean, of course I have to be there. Who's going to troll everybody when Roman Reigns retains?
No. I don't know if you were setting up interview spaces while it was happening, or you're going to be in the crowd watching the show. But yeah, Roman Reigns could actually retain, but we won't get into that.
Could. He will.
He could.
Hey, can you pull up that super chat and read it out loud? Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to Keon Robinson who gave us $2, who says, Issa, flame emoji, heart eyes emoji. Of course, I had to read it as I was doing it. Glenn Rubinstein is not here tonight. He's on assignment for the next couple days. So if you think this episode is really different and lame, my bad. You're stuck with me. No refunds.
How'd you get the hearts to come out?
Different level. She's operates on a different level. Issa is just, I gotta acknowledge our wrestling chief. That's what it is. Huge night on SmackDown as far as debuts and all that stuff. But before we get into all that, George, hit me up with the news. What's going down the news wire this week?
So as far as the news goes, one of the big news, at least for me, it was. I don't know about you guys, but I think it was for all of us. But there's a health update for Kenny Omega. He is out with diverticulitis. Apparently, it looks like he is going to get surgery, according to Dave Meltzer, just to ensure that he comes back, the healthiest possible. So again, I'm not too familiar with the science of it. I don't know what that means as far as his timetable for return. But at least we know he's going to be able to come back maybe better than ever. Obviously, we know Brock Lesnar had diverticulitis back in 2010, 2011. Came back, had a couple fights, actual MMA fights, and then came back to the WWE with the run of a lifetime. So we know that it doesn't have to mean the end of someone's career. So good news. I guess good news is Kenny will be back. Bad news is we don't know how much time.
Can't fit in the frame. Here's the thoughts about this one.
I mean, I just want Kenny to be healthy and take the time that he needs. It is very known that Brock did come back, but he did come back too soon. And you saw that in those first couple of UFC matches that he did. And he also spoke about it in regards to him just coming back slightly too soon. So I just hope they don't rush him, give him the time that he needs to recover. However, like George said, he came back to a freaking full-blown MMA fight where it will be a lot differently, in the world of professional wrestling. And I do think that may be why he went back to that. I think it's a lot easier to manage. But I just want Kenny to be healthy and to be okay. I think Kenny's very talented. I think that absence makes the heart grow fonder. I didn't like where Kenny was at the time that this whole thing happened. So maybe, he gets his surgery, we get the time off, and he can come back and be treated like the top star that he is, because it was just freaking Christ. Wheeler Yuta pinned the man. No, that's not what we do around here.
Wait, that's the baseline? Oh, man, you need to go, bro. Wheeler Yuta pins you? You need to leave.
If Wheeler Yuta pins you, it's over.
That's awful. But I understand. I totally understand. That's
wow.
The sad part about it.
We're gonna get Wheeler Yuta hates now on our Twitter account.
That's fine. You got Dodger hate. It says go Dodgers, Ricky Zaldivar, or one of our moderators. I disagree. But go Mets. I do agree with that.
Please stop. They have dancers on top of their dugout now. That's so cringe. They're so desperate. The Mets are so freaking desperate. It's disgusting.
Desperate for what? Okay, I forgot you're a Yankee
for
fan.
Selling tickets.
Never mind.
Ain't nobody going to. First of all, the Mets, that's like the ass of New York City. Let's just
wrong.
Absolutely
wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Oh my God!
Absolutely wrong.
Please
Don't even do that. Nope.
No, because you talk about the Bronx being dirty. I get that, right? But who the
dirty?
One train to get there? The 7, which is the worst possible.
And you know what? When you go to Yankee Stadium,
terrible because it doesn't even go to Manhattan. But the 7th train is disgusting. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to New York City. They should stop service to it. People should, if you want to go to the Met, walk there.
First of all, everyone knows the worst train in New York City is the G train at the 7. And second of all, take the 4 to Yankee Stadium and you're stuck outside because you can't get inside the building because there's so much of a museum.
The 4 to Yankee Stadium when you can take the D.
Okay, all right. George, family shows. What else is going on in the news, man?
You can't take the D to Yankee Stadium, okay? I don't know how you took that.
It's never done. Not touching it though. George, hit me.
Oh, this could be one of those shows. Another piece of news is one of the reasons we haven't seen Jay White on. We've seen him on TV, but we haven't seen him in front of a crowd for a while. It's because AEW has been in Canada for the past couple shows. We saw them in Toronto last week. We saw them in Ontario or somewhere in Quebec this past Wednesday. But one of the reasons why I haven't seen Jay White is because I guess his visa doesn't allow him to travel to Canada, which is why we haven't seen him. Again, in front of a crowd, get that pop. So it looks like once they go back to normal.
That was actually my question, George. Did you miss Jay White? Because frankly, until that news came out, I didn't realize he was gone. Is that just me?
Let me. Oh God.
Besides the promo,
let me just say, I love Wrestling Inc. is my go-to. Like that is, they're my go-to for wrestling news. I'm not just saying this because I'm here. I legit have been going to them for years. They're easy on the eyes. There's not that many ads going on, and they're really good at kind of posting news. But I love you guys. They like to make news out of a lot of things that isn't necessarily news. You know, it's like when we see somebody like, so and so is going to appear on SmackDown for the first time since Elimination Chamber. Dude, Elimination Chamber was last Sunday, bro. Like that's not really news. You know what I mean? Like so little things like that. I kind of get what you're saying, where it's like he didn't really feel missed just because he was on those vignettes with the pool and the guns and whatnot. But it's just something I kind of did notice that he hasn't really been in front of a crowd. Well, crowd, I know. But at least now that when they go back to the US, at least we'll get to see him. At least maybe do some matches because regardless of whatever crowd size AEW gets, Jay White is a certified star, or he at least has the ability to be a certified star, however they want to. I don't think he's being booked correctly, but, just give it a chance. Let's see how everything goes.
Get pinned by Yuta. He's thoughts about that.
Yeah, you don't want to get pinned by Yuta, though, because apparently that's the worst thing in the world. So
it's worse than the worst thing in the world. Listen, I can't say that I missed him. But not to throw. I like Jay White, and I have better expectations. And I hope that now that they split him from the Scissor Gang, whatever that was, that they start doing better. This man main evented a pay-per-view and then went to this weird trios Ring of Honor thing. But it's not even a Jay White thing at this point. They are so inconsistent with who you're going to see on TV and who you're not going to see on TV. I actually think that affects their ticket sales because you don't know what you're going to get any week. Like it's so different. They don't have a split roster. They don't have go to this show if you want to see these people. You don't know who's going to show up. And it feels very random. And that is the reason why we haven't even missed him, because every week you get a whole different bunch of people with some random matches and no story. It's a big issue with what's going on with AEW right now.
See, they have been getting better, though, a little bit. They have been getting a little bit better throughout the past couple weeks.
But that begs a question. I mean, I know at WWE that we say there shouldn't be a brand split. There should be a brand split. Would AEW benefit from a hard brand split? When you buy a collision ticket, you get these 40 guys.
You should be able to know who you're getting. Do you think I want to buy a ticket and spend all this money to go to the arena? What the arenas are not cheap, starting from parking to the snacks to the merch, and then you don't even know if you're going to get to see your favorite. They should at least be able to know who their top draws are, but you're never going to know that because you're changing so many people. All the segments are different people every week. So how are you going to go by the graphics when the graphics are all different, right? So no, I do think that people should be able to know, hey, you're guaranteed to see this person, whether it's in a dark match, whether it's at the Rampage taping. That would make you go to the shows more. It's a proven thing, okay? It's been scientifically proven, Flobo.
I'm glad you're saying this because I felt maybe not so much now, but like a year or 2 years ago when Excalibur was telling us like the next 7 weeks of AEW programming on TV, I was like, stop. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I feel like it kind of went the other way where it's like, what is happening next week? You know what I mean? It is kind of an interesting point.
And tickets sold better back in the day than what they're selling now.
Yeah, no, you're
absolutely. I just want Jay White to come back. I want to see Jay White versus Malachi Black. I won't go there. Never mind.
It's a color joke. I get it. Let's get to SmackDown here, 8 days away from WrestleMania, and how it all starts off with one of the best thighs of the roster, Corey Issa, Randy Orton.
My God, he could choke a bear. You know what? He was just in Puerto Rico this week.
And
really?
I
couldn't help but to think, yeah. He and his wife were vacationing in Dorado.
Oh.
You know who else lives in Dorado? Logan Paul. I'm not trying to put two and two together, but maybe they were practicing a crazy RKO spot for WrestleMania. That's my conspiracy theory. I'm sticking to it. Logan Paul has a beautiful WWE sent and built ring on his backyard.
Wow.
Randy Orton, out of all of the resorts that he could stay at, he stayed at the one that's literally next door to Logan Paul. I'm just saying that based on what I know geographically. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, but when I saw him here, I was like, bro, we can switch from bear to chupacabra. If I am stranded in Puerto Rico in the middle of the night and a chupacabra is coming to get me, imagine Randy Orton comes out of the wood, grabs the chupacabra, chokes him with his leg, and I am saved. That's beautiful.
I forgot that chupacabras are like worth like what, 3 bears, right? That's what's up.
Chupacabras are dangerous. I saw one.
Oh, I remember you telling me that, and I was like, I don't think they exist. And you're like, shut up, Flobo.
With my family, and because we were out in a camping trip and we were all drunk, nobody in our family wants to buy it. And I'm like, how is all 12 of us? Okay, we were under the influence, but we all saw the same thing. And we were under the influence of different things. So you never, like, how are people that are like drunk? You know what I mean? Like, this is like, we all saw the same thing. I saw that chupacabra. I will die on that hill.
Whatever chupacabras all inside of us. But go ahead, George.
I have a question. If being under the influence is, a certain state of mind, if I'm not in that state of mind, does that mean I'm over the influence?
I think you are. Yeah. I'm not saying chupacabras aren't real. I'm just saying I haven't seen one, and I'm also never under the influence. I'm just putting it out there.
You never seen a chupacabra?
Well, there's not many out here.
I haven't.
Yeah, not where you're from. You will never see a chupacabra.
So it's SmackDown this week. Randy Orton tag team.
All right, Randy Orton comes out with those legs.
Right. Fresh off of just killing all these chupacabras. Chupacabra out of control. Team of Kevin Owens against Pretty Deadly, which is the second tag team.
Call them by their team name.
Pretty Deadly?
RKO.
That's
no. RKO.
No. No. That's just his move. That's just his move. No. Why would we do that? That's dumb. It's not a tag team. Anyway, Pretty Deadly. Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Love me some Pretty Deadly theme song. Very reminiscent of the Billy and Chuck theme song, if anybody remembers that one.
Oh, no, this is way better than Billy and Chuck's.
Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. How dare you talk bad about the Billy and Chuck iconic You Look So Good to Me theme song?
It's a good song, but I think this one's better. That's all I'm saying. Can we talk about the match? All right. We got to show
we can. Yeah, we can. I'm excited to talk about this match.
So it was a RKO against Pretty Deadly in our first matchup this weekend. Looked like it looked like Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, I'm saying it too, had the upper hand, but Logan Paul comes out with the brass knuckles and Pretty Deadly gets the win. He was
cosplaying Kim Possible. Make sure you mention that.
He was
cosplaying Kim Possible.
The green cargo shorts, I see it. After that, though, because Pretty Deadly gets the first win in what seemingly forever, it looks like they're celebrating. But then,
yes, boy,
on the replay, Randy Orton sees what happens, knocks out Logan Paul, and all thing breaks loose. He's walk me through this one. Pretty Deadly hasn't been on TV a long time, but you get a win. They look like main event stars.
They were just on TV 2 weeks ago. They were in the tournament. They lost.
And they lost. They haven't won a win.
They have not won in forever. Yeah. And so I feel bad because I'm a huge Pretty Deadly fan. I'm very open about that. But of course, I love me some Randy Orton. And I love Kevin Owens as well. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so torn right now because I just don't want to see Pretty Deadly keep doing the job every week, just keep discrediting them. But at the same time, I hate seeing Randy and KO working together because they're going in a match against each other and they're just vibing. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. So I wanted Pretty Deadly to win here, but I will tell you, I was like 99.9% sure they were losing, right? Randy and Kevin Owens having a match at WrestleMania. I didn't put the Logan Paul factor in there, especially because he hasn't been advertised. They've been doing a lot of unadvertised things, which I'm very happy about. Things you can do when you sell out. You know, you don't have to announce anybody. But anyways,
wow.
So I thought Pretty Deadly was gonna lose here. I thought the match was great. All of these people, like they're incredible workers. But I was very shocked to see Logan Paul unannounced come out. Like he's been working, he's been there every week building this feud. I'm very excited for this United States Championship match. I think it's gonna be a banger. But he helped Pretty Deadly get the win. I was happy. All right, there's the positive. However, everything that went on after that was so stupid. First of all, you really came out and revealed yourself. Why would you go and hide under the ring again? What are you doing, Logan Paul? And second of all, Pretty Deadly, you got the win. You know you should have not gotten that win. Get the heck out of there. Why did they come back out? I would have been like, I got my win. I am out. But they come back out and get beat up again. Like, yeah. I didn't like I felt that Pretty Deadly and Logan Paul looked a little silly with the aftermath, but I like seeing Pretty Deadly get the win. Like I said, we need some tension between. I don't want Kevin Owens and Randy Orton to be BFFs. They're all going for this match against each other. That's my thoughts.
You just said RKO. Now you're like, I don't want them together. We just christened them RKO.
I just like the name. It's clever. It's original.
Don't encourage this guy with his dad jokes. George, walk me through this one. Is he right? Was it kind of like a comedy at the end of it, a farce? Because if I beat somebody up, why am I hiding after the fact?
Because you don't want to get beat up. That's why you're hiding under the ring.
So run out of there. Yeah. He probably could have a helicopter landing there, and he has money.
That is true. But yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from. I do have a couple issues, but that's going to be what's wrong with George Hermoza? It's going to be later on in the show as far as like the Street Profits match, and I'll get to this the logistical flaws regarding that. But I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, I love the fact that Pretty Deadly actually won here. They have, by all means, every right to win here, especially when you have yes, they have a catchy, clever name, but RKO isn't a normal tag team. You have Pretty Deadly, former NXT UK Tag Team Champions, former NXT Tag Team Champions. They should be going over here. They should be winning here. So I kind of like adding on that extra Logan Paul element of, and especially when you have this SmackDown where no Cody, no Roman, no Rock, no Bloodline, no Jay, no Seth, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah,
Cody's still getting beat up by The Rock outside of Chicago. If you look it up, they're still going at it.
Imagine 3 days, 4 days. Get up, boy!
He couldn't make it because he's still getting beat up.
Yeah, and Pretty Deadly was there because why wouldn't you want to gloat about your victory after beating 2 former world champions? I'd want to be out there to celebrate with the fans and with all those pretty people, as I like to call Pretty Deadly's fans. So yeah, I'm all for exactly how it happened. Yeah, the Logan Paul thing was okay, but we all know it's they're trying to be cute. Obviously getting the crowd involved as far as getting the crowd to tell them where Logan Paul is hiding at. So that was fun. It was logics, but it was fun overall.
We got some comments about the final test mystery prophecy. We'll get to that a bit later, but thank you so much for your patience. But I gotta be honest with you, it is kind of weird seeing this whole U.S. title thing. I don't think Logan Paul retains, or does he? Question mark.
He's gonna retain.
I don't know.
Total bet on it.
Wow.
There's a part of me that feels like he's going to retain just based on the logistic of SummerSlam being in Cleveland, and they have made him such a big deal out of announcing that and all that. And I don't see him being involved in a world championship. So, I mean, maybe Money in the Bank if he doesn't retain here. You know what I mean? But I can see him going into SummerSlam strong as a champion. The one thing I do want to point out is that I find it funny that when they do this, we criticize that can they coexist, and they finally book 2 of them to actually coexist, and then we criticize them still.
Right. What are they doing together? Ugh.
You shouldn't get along.
Right. I love you. You're a loner. I was
like a glitch of the Matrix. I don't like it.
On NXT, I'm the worst with the wolf dogs. I'm like, come on, man, the lone wolf. Be by yourself, please.
Oh, no, I love the wolf dogs.
I know everyone else does. I'm the only person that feels that way. Let me know in the chat about the wolf dogs. Before we get to the thing that pops social media, I want to talk to you about this Io Sky promo she did. Leaning into just being the subtitle promo. It looked pretty good, looked pretty forceful. Cut, action, And then Bayley out of nowhere just hiding out in the back. George, walk me through this, man. Bayley won the Royal Rumble, but I feel like she's like the 5th or 6th most important match about WrestleMania. Thoughts?
I mean, when you got The Rock, Roman, Seth, Cody, Drew, all those people, unfortunately, it's just the way how pro wrestling is. Whether people like it or not, it's just something that we normally can't really control. And at the same time, though, like if you do have, let's say, maybe Bayley and Io main event just night one of WrestleMania, like what's not going to be at the end of the world. You can start off hot, maybe that Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. It ain't gonna happen. But even if it did, like people aren't going to leave, people aren't going to revolt just because Bayley's in the main event. But it just the way things is, unfortunately. And maybe it comes down to timing. Maybe next year would have been a better time for her. It just when you got The Rock involved, there's really not much you can do. And I don't mean that to knock The Rock. It just he's that big of a star where you don't really like everybody kind of takes a backseat to The Rock and the Bloodline story.
Bayley disrespect, Issa.
I'm totally with it. I want Bayley to get her respect, but
I think that look when I think about WrestleMania Night 1 last year, right? Mm-hmm. I will tell you one thing, and maybe I might be a little biased here, but I think about Rhea and Charlotte before I think of the main event match. Oh. And that's the thing. If you put on a good match, it doesn't matter. You'll get people talking about you. Do we not still talk about how certain matches should have main evented? Undertaker and HBK, right? Hogan and The Rock. Like, we still talk about some match that we were like, oh man, that should have gone on last because nobody could follow that. Freaking let that put a chip on their shoulder and let them go out there and do the best that they can do because Io and Bayley are talented. And I personally cannot wait to see what they do. And they have a story built. So, I don't feel like I am old school. So to me, the main event of WrestleMania, I love the 2-night concept. It's still the night 2 main event. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are main eventing. That's just the way that I see it. The rest is just an order. And however you put it could really make or break the experience. But I think that, look, do what Rhea and Charlotte did last year because I still talk about that match before anything when I talk about night 1 of WrestleMania. They can do the same thing. I have no doubt in Bayley and Io being able to do this. I love this, though, because Bayley needed to get something. After winning the Rumble, she had no momentum going. She needed to do this attack on Io. We needed to see a different side of her. So I absolutely, 10 out of 10, love this backstage attack. Everything, Bayley tweeted out the picture of her texting Io, like giving her the damage control idea. Like, everybody is going far and beyond to make these title matches feel like a big deal, feels like it's real. Like, I just want to give everybody their flowers because the hype going into this WrestleMania, whether the match feels predictable or unpredictable, it doesn't matter. Everybody is working. Last week, I remember saying when I was on the beginning of my life, I was like, well, the match that I feel like it hasn't even been built is LA Knight and AJ Styles. And they do a home invasion like 20 minutes later. And I'm like, I take it back.
That's how it's done.
Yeah. Right, everybody's trying their damn best here, and I just want to give everybody their flowers because the hype going into this Mania feels different. We all get excited for WrestleMania. It's our Christmas morning. We're all wrestling fans, but there's a different hype going into this one. I feel everybody deserves, some points because it's just being a different build. It's being a different hype. I like what they did tonight with Bayley.
Hell yeah! Well, I'm actually more of a SummerSlam guy myself. Got a shout out to A Steel who says, this may be the coldest WrestleMania. Dress your asses warm. I don't even
not. First of all, LA last year was fucking.
Yeah, it was.
It was freezing.
It was it was like high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, that's freezing. I'm Puerto Rican. WrestleMania 35, WrestleMania 29.
She's like, how dare you say something different?
It was brick. It's brick, and you all know it. It's nothing new. It's nothing.
Mad brick, dumb brick. I hear you. All right, let's get into the moment that broke social media with more impressions already as it stands. Nick Aldis, period. No, I'm just kidding. The debut of, we're calling her the Storm Jade Cargill, coming out like the Rock final boss level. There was snowflake. She went full Glacier George. Thoughts about this? Jade Cargill finally signs her contract to SmackDown this week.
That entrance was, what are the kids called these days? Fire?
I don't know.
Bomb.
You're asking an old man what the kids say? I have no idea.
Awesome. Dude, that the visual, like nobody does it like the WWE. that visual of just the lights off, the lights kind of coming out into like a little triangle, her walking out like total superhero, kind of reminded me of when The Rock came out on Raw, where it just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Little things like that just go such a long way. The visual, just everything about Jade Cargill, like she's here to stay. And obviously, we're gonna get into later on in the main event. Just to say that Flobo was right when I said it last week on what it looks like, what they're building up to. But yeah, I mean, it's short and simple, short and sweet. Like, it doesn't need to be Jade coming out, everybody coming out to challenge her. It's just short and simple. Here she is. She's a star. Boom. That's all. That's all there is. Leave them wanting more. Leave them wanting more.
Now, we'll get into the main event later on, obviously. But when she did that promo, was that enough for you at the moment? Was it kind of like, bam, she didn't do anything more? Were you if there was no appearance, she did everything she needed to do?
Yeah, like short and sweet. Like, there's no need to sit there and come out like Jericho did and bore us to death when he first came out in WWE in 1999. When him just kind of rambling. Don't get me wrong, the debut was amazing, but just once he got on the mic, it was like, all right, like The Rock totally shut him down in that opening promo. It didn't need to be that. It didn't need to just again coming out saying, hey, this is one of the best rosters in the world, and I'm going to show you why I belong on the top. Like, what more is there to say?
So we were talking about this when Jade signed, like, where's Jade? Where? Who? She finally says it last week. I'm coming to SmackDown. We want to know how it done. It came out. Big deal. Were you impressed? Yes? No? Mabel?
Are you not impressed just from looking at her? Her presence is impressive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. That's why I like the short, sweet, and simple, because I feel like we are getting paid to analyze the product. We are hardcores. We do this every week. If you're somebody that's just tuning in because it's WrestleMania season and you see her, you're gonna get who is she?
Yeah,
barely.
You're getting paid.
You get paid.
But
you deserve it. Okay.
Now you make a phone call.
The presentation of Jay was incredible. I felt like there was a little bit of a jab there. Maybe I'm overlooking into it, but she didn't say we're one of the best rosters. She said we have the best female roster in the world. And given the fact that there's all this buzz going around the women's roster in AEW, I did feel like that was a little bit of a jab, and I appreciated it. Yeah. But Jade Cargill she has it. She oozes it. I got a chance to interview her the day after she did the Royal Rumble. And when she walked into the room, you have to respectfully stop and stare. That's the presence that she has, like, no matter what. And she oozed that tonight, okay? And it's just fun to see her. And we'll get into the main event later, but I did think this was effective because at that point you were like, okay, well, she's not going to do anything on WrestleMania. We'll see. So the ending felt like a nice surprise.
Okay. Now, I agree with both of you, but just for the sake of argument here, Lisa, let me ask you this. There is a roster on SmackDown that kind of fits that archetype. You had that backstage promo before, a couple weeks back, with Tiffany Stratton and Bianca and Jade, and it kind of felt that we're very much variants of each other. Now, is this still the right decision to put Jade Cargill on the SmackDown roster, you think?
Yeah, I do think that. I think that, I mean, based on history, there will be a little bit of a shakeup after WrestleMania. They always do it. So right now, this could be what they're telling us, just to get the WrestleMania matches out of the way, and then maybe we'll shuffle the deck and see what we need to do to get things going the right way. I still think that eventually we have to get Bianca and Rhea. So I do see Bianca maybe moving to wherever Rhea is at just to get that match, because that's another dream match that hasn't happened. We're getting the Becky one now, but I still remember we had a book and then they had to take it back because Rhea got injured and nobody freaking ever mentioned it again. Anyway, sorry. I do think we'll see a little bit of a shakeup, and I think that we're doing what we need to do right now to get this WrestleMania season going, and then afterwards, I can see it happening. Besides, we had different deals, we're going to different networks, so I'm sure they all sit down and said, I want this person, because we got Netflix coming up, we got USA Network with SmackDown, so I don't see this being a long term. I don't see Jade permanently being a SmackDown person. Sure. I think that they will move things around as needed.
You mentioned Rhea real quick. I get a super chat to Jared Smith. This is mucho more, mommy.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I was for Rhea Ripley. What are we talking about? Let's moving on. There, everybody has a question there, George, because you're a baseball guy like I am. Will you get an MLB WWE title? Because they are pushing those things hard on the TV show.
Do I want one?
I feel unacknowledged.
Well, no, okay. I didn't know you had one, Issa.
I have a Yankees tattoo, bro. And I know you say you guys are baseball
I know
people.
You're a baseball fan,
Issa.
But George spends a lot more money on on
Oh
wrestling
wow,
stuff. I
really
did.
did.
I knew she
Um,
wanted to make back. Don't cancel me. I cancel myself. I'll show you. No. George, would you get a title? I just want to know. Are you getting one?
do I want one? Yes. Will I get one? I mean, I want one. They're like $550.
Okay.
I don't even have a regular WWF championship. I've always wanted one. But yeah, if people want to be generous and donate to my GoFundMe to buy a WWE Dodgers belt, I'm all for it.
Now, thanks a lot, Issa. You got Victoria Ryan in the chat thinking I don't think you like baseball.
Yeah, I'm at 3 years in a row Yankee season.
I know you are.
Look at the flex. I'm a 3 year in a row Yankee season ticket holder. I only let it go because I left New York. But I'm not a baseball person or anything.
I know you are, Issa, but I was giving George something to talk.
Nice
okay, all right. I knew.
I can easily say you're both baseball people.
You literally had the photo shoot this week on your X account, which I do follow pretty handedly. I know you watched the game.
Sure.
Glenn, save me. Glenn, where are you, man?
She's drinking a Capri Sun? Is that a Capri Sun?
He's an adult Capri Sun. He's alcoholic.
Yeah. Carmelina, have you seen Fire Pro Wrestling? Let me know. All right. So, talking about the tag team matchup here, I was supposed to be for the last spot in the ladder match. It was Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I think they're still A-Town down. Just not sure if they are against the Street Profits. And true to form, the Final Testament gets involved. And, well, before I ask you about the match, we have some comments here, some super chats from the crowd. Mr. Or12 says, I can't stand the Final Testament for Bobby Lashley and Street Profits feud. Talk Scheme says, I curse Triple H for not bringing back the Hurt Business because the Final Testament feud is horse. Shh. They were kind of like the name of the game. Now, Issa, let me ask you first, and please be gentle with me. Talk about the matchup, what it means for Final Testament getting involved again this week.
Can we talk about how Karrion Kross broke a baseball bat with his arm on Twitter? Do you see that video?
I did not.
Bro, why doesn't he do that on TV? They don't probably be like, oh crap. Anyways, I don't care about it. I'm with the super chats. It's not hitting. You know this. We talk about it every week. It's just not it. I don't know what they could do. I mean, the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley looked like it was about to become the coolest freaking faction when they first came together. And then I don't know what happened when they went shopping. Maybe like the wrong person paid for everything, and now it's just not the same anymore. But it's not hitting. It's not hitting. Neither is A-Town down. So,
whew, that's damn. So you have a match where nobody's hitting at once? Did you?
No, there's more than that. We'll get into it later.
Okay. So Austin Theory and Grayson Waller going to the tag match, the ladder match, which also is included.
They're not winning though. You know this.
Oh, they have to. They have to win because I got a feeling that they need the titles. Most people don't need the titles. They need the titles to be relevant. So I do think they're going to win this one. If you're going ahead
you are really out of it tonight.
I know. I'm not even drinking. All I have is a sparkling water here. Maybe I should start. George, with your empty cup, apparently the chat is saying the cup is empty. Thoughts about this one? So you got the Karrion Kross situation, Akam and Razor getting involved after the matchup. Street Profits bought the champagne beforehand, something you just don't do. What is your takeaway through all of this in this one?
The match was fine. Not everything that we see has to be a knock out of the park. I will tell you my only, and this is going to be really, really a reach. I'm going to tell you my reach right now. I like the finish overall, but I hate the fact that they did not explain why somebody from the truck or whoever's in charge of putting stuff on the screen just randomly put something in the middle of a match, right? Like for example, you don't go onto the field in the middle of an inning, or you don't go on the field ever. But you know what I mean? It's or imagine somebody just kind of interrupting the game or interrupting something. You had somebody literally say, you know what? I'm going to put whatever's happening backstage literally in the middle of a match. All I wanted, and maybe they'll explain it some other on Twitter or whatever. All I wanted is for a Paul Ellering or an AOP to come out of the truck. That's it. That's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to show. It's just a 2-second clip of somebody just kind of being forced to put that on the screen because somebody, and again, in the land of kayfabe, somebody should be getting fired. How are you going to sit there and just interrupt the match just like that?
That bothers you? Not the fact that Bobby Lashley
1,000%.
Well, I guess my issue is that to me, it's the logic that Bobby Lashley can smack around Karrion Kross without breaking a sweat, and now he gets taken aback because the door is in front of him. So what did this guy have that Bobby Lashley didn't put his hand up? And he knocked out Ray Fab and took the champagne.
He obviously had a couple drinks and was a little under the influence, not over the influence as he should have been during the show. So maybe he didn't have all the strength. But I mean, at the end of the day, and again, obviously, we're not going to get into it, but Bobby Lashley had a big WrestleMania match planned last year. It didn't happen. Obviously, we all know why. And we all kind of felt for him because then he was kind of relegated to SmackDown and winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Bobby Lashley is somebody that he deserves a WrestleMania match every single year. If this is the way to do it, then I got no problem with that.
Issa, does that happen? Do you think that will be the end of this feud, be WrestleMania, and you'll never want to see it again? Or is it going to have to be something big like a Hell in a Cell or Last Man Standing or something weird?
No, I don't see this making it to Mania. I mean, we already have. I don't see it. Maybe the SmackDown before they do something.
I want to see. So back in WrestleMania 13, we saw a Chicago street fight with the Nation of Domination against Ahmed Johnson, the Road Warriors, and those guys tore the building down. I want to see something like that. That's all I need to see. I need to see the 6 guys just go out there, have like a nice little Philly street fight. Tear the roof out of the place and just give Bobby and the Street Profits the big spotlight they deserve. And obviously, I'm not the only one, or you're not the only one either, to kind of think that this whole cross thing isn't really working as we'd like. And I will still say this all day, every day: the guy needs to get a haircut. Get a haircut, shave your head, get your goatee back, and then we'll talk.
That doesn't. I do not, because Glenn agrees with you, but I go. I like characters and stories. I'm never like, oh man, James Bond's great, but change his hair. Like, I didn't care Daniel Craig was blonde. Like, it just should be something you should care about the character, what they're doing. No,
you would care if he was bald.
Hair has a lot. I think hair can add, or I don't think Warlord's been the same since they cut his hair. So there's
that's different. That's because basically Wardlow got like basically subdued by Joe.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, there is we're not gonna get into how I feel about AJ Styles.
You brought up the James Bond analogy. If James Bond comes out there with a bald ass head, people would make a big deal. Because the part of James Bond is the whole getup, is the nice hair and whatnot. So yes, it is part of the presentation to always look well groomed as far as Bond goes.
But my point is, that he's a British superstar killer that's working for the British government. I don't know who Karrion Kross is, and that's beyond his hair and his clothes and what he says. I don't know what he wants. What he's here for is what's the final testament. Last week I had this whole rant about it. It's like, are you a Christian group or an anti-Christian group? Let me know what you are, so I can say if I like you or not. That's all I'm saying. Of course, the hair chat. Let me know if hair counts, y'all, because apparently I'm wrong here. We got to move on because my favorite tag team, Legado del Fantasma.
Los Lobos Locos.
They're Legado del Fantasma. They even said it on the screen.
The Crazy Wolves?
No. Legado del Fantasma.
They're werewolves.
They're not. Okay. Anyway, they come out with
it's been scientifically proven. So there's been like research done about this. They're werewolves.
Angel and now Berto, no longer Umberto, just Berto, come out with Santos Escobar. And he said, yeah, he's just Berto now.
He's just Berto. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, I get you could chant Berto, but it sounds a little odd to me. It says, hey, look.
Ain't nobody chanting nothing.
I chant for them.
Yeah, you're the only one, Flobo.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I can imagine. I don't care about Karrion Kross. Berto. Okay. They come out to thank Dirty Dom, and somehow Dominic Mysterio finds a way to reheat a storyline from last year and hates his dad. Wow. Rey Mysterio comes
will you
out.
Stop hating your dad out of the blue if he's a deadbeat? That doesn't go away.
I thought he was.
He didn't even have the audacity to show up at his wedding.
Oh, he was there.
Well, he wasn't invited.
I didn't see him. I didn't see a guy with a mask walking around the wedding.
Oh, that's the reason why he wasn't there? He doesn't.
I'm just saying he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Anyway, we have ourselves a tag team matchup set for WrestleMania. It's going to be Dominic Mysterio's and Santos Escobar, and their idea is to shut up Rey Mysterio and a partner of his choosing.
Shut up! I don't want to talk about this.
And Andrade, y'all, it's not Mystico. It's no one from the Triple R roster. It's
Mystico.
Dragon Lee. Well, George talking about this. The future of Lucha, Dragon Lee's going to WrestleMania? Question mark?
I love this segment 1,000% because it is totally.
Shut your mouth, tough guy.
it is totally setting up. And here's the thing. I'm starting to believe that everybody is right about Rey Mysterio because 1,000% his tech partner should be Carlito. Like
No,
there
he
is no
shouldn't.
doubt.
Carlito shouldn't even be in that group.
Wait,
What are you talking about?
Carlito
It should be Carlito.
Carlito ain't no follower.
It should be Carlito. But the fact that it wasn't Carlito, I think that's going to cause some tension in the LWO. And it's totally going to lead up. I'm calling it right now.
Right now. You guys are all crazy. Why would Bad Bunny tour with this bunch of jobbers?
I love Rey Mysterio.
But I totally kind of see Carlito because we kind of saw Carlito not being a little too excited at the fact that it's Dragon Lee as Rey Mysterio's partner. So I kind of had that. I kind of like that.
That's what Rey Mysterio does, George. That's what he does.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. I think
and then he just abandons him and just leaves him.
that's what I'm saying. I think everybody's right about Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, and then he brings all these people together, and he's like, "My partner is this guy that's never been here before." Like Rey Mysterio.
Preach, sister, preach. Rey Mysterio, what he do? What he do? I found it funny that Dragon Lee came out tugging at a shirt like, "Wow, I got one too." I was like, "Oh, come on, ain't nobody asked for this."
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that Dragon Lee was nowhere near that tattoo shop. It was only cool people there that night. The night we got the tattoos, Dragon Lee was not there. He is not LWO. Only the people that were part of that night are LWO.
You know,
I was a big WCW fan, so I need the real LWO to come out. I need Damien. I need Cicople. I need La Parca out there. I want to see the OG LWO guys.
Cornell Bryant in the shot. He literally came out wearing an LWO shirt at Backlash when he made that crazy.
He had the Puerto Rican one, the red, white, and blue version.
Relax.
But I feel like the Dragon Lee thing, and again, as a character issue, not a person issue. I think it's like when
Puerto Rican LWO. No, hold up.
What do you mean?
What if we create a Puerto Rican LWO?
Oh, then we can call them the Latino World Order.
Wait. Then you'll split.
Oh.
You
split LWO and you put the cool ones, which are the Puerto Ricans.
Joaquin Wild is gonna be on one side, and Cruz El Toro is gonna be.
He's not even Latino. He's a non-Latino.
You have Carlito. You have freaking Electra. Like that would be the coolest version of the LWO ever. I'm biased here.
You can have LWO Puerto Rico against LWO Mexico, kind of like the NWO. And NWO Hollywood against NWO Wolfpack.
Stop.
No, don't tell me to stop.
No,
I'm sorry that I want to build a cool faction. Let's talk about something. At the end of the show, WWE was trying to do a lot of really cool things for the Latinos, for all these communities, right? But you get Bianca Jade and he doesn't get any more badass than that. I get freaking Dragon Lee as a Latina. I feel ripped off. I want a cooler faction than that. Thank you. I have spoken.
And why is there no South American presence in the LWO? Where's all the Peruvians at? You know,
anybody but Dragon Lee.
How many
no hate on Dragon Lee.
If LWOs do nothing but lose, how many factions of losers do you want?
What if it was the Puerto Rican LWO I'm building?
That is conjecture because I don't see no wins from that group ever. Anyway,
I'm just saying. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is, I think everybody's right about Rey Mysterio because regardless if you agree or not, he should have picked Carlito. But the fact that it's not Carlito is going to hurt him because now Carlito is going to cost them the title, the match at WrestleMania. Now it's going to be Legado, what's his face, Santos and Mysterio beating the LWO because Carlito turns on Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. I'm calling it right now. Stamp it, bet on it.
Let Dominic pin Rey.
Right.
Justice must be served here.
I've been rough on Dragon Lee, but to me it didn't make any sense because Andrade was backstage for weeks. You thought, well, maybe he.
But he's on Raw.
But what I'm saying is, in the context
of the story, Dominic.
I never thought, he'll get Dragon Lee.
Any interaction with any of these people, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. So if you guys want to see a Puerto Rican LWO and they feud with a Mexican LWO, listen to the chat below because that would be awful to watch. Because Dragon Lee is not. Because Dragon Lee won't be winning any matches. Dragon Lee can't win. Rey Mysterio gets beat up all the time.
Many now?
I guess what I'm saying is the Puerto Rican LWO would just totally flatten what's left of the Mexican LWO.
It will be amazing.
Oh, okay. A little biased there. I can hear you. All right. So, Berto and Angel.
God, please don't call him that. Call him
Umberto?
Little Lobo.
Carrillo?
Yeah, Carrillo and Angel. They stay in the ring, clutching where their wolf marks used to be. As New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate come down to the ring. Bam. Issa, talk to your new guys, man. I mean, they had a match. It looked pretty good. Tandem is nice. What's up?
Who are my guys out of this? I don't care about anybody here.
Umberto, Carrillo, and Angel.
No, you know I don't like them. I don't like those locals. Why would I like werewolves? I'm not trying to get bit in the middle of the night. Then I gotta be hairy, and then I gotta pay for laser hair removal. Like, I don't want none of that. They're not my people. And neither is this Banana Republic team. They need to change their name. I don't like the name. I like Pete Dunne. I like Tyler Bate. I don't like this name.
Fair.
The right people won.
Can I ask why New Catch Republic? This is not hitting for me either. I just want to see what was.
It's the name. It's like they don't feel like they did back when they were like in NXT and they got together. They don't have that badassness. Like they hadn't get together at a freaking Subway Starbucks. This hasn't hit since they won. Hopefully, we see them do crazy because I do think adding them to the ladder matches. Of course, I do. Like just because I'm not feeling them right now doesn't mean I'm stupid to not tell you, oh my God, them being in this ladder match is going to be incredible, right?
No, I got you.
We see them show out. I don't think they win, but I hope that we see them show out and that could bring back some kind of passion. I don't feel like the passion is there. I just feel like they're just two buddies that wrestle together and it just doesn't feel like the Strong Boys that they felt like when they were in NXT together and all that. I just want to feel that and it just hasn't been there.
100%. George, what's missing then from New Catch Republic? Because East and I agree. It feels like the ingredients are there. We saw it work. What's up?
What's missing is they're just like obviously they work well together. Nobody's talking about their chemistry. Nobody's talking about that. Obviously they go friends way back. Everybody who watched the first UK title tournament, there's a lot of history there.
That was 7 years ago.
It just feels forced. It just feels like it's something to do. Let's give Tyler Bates been in NXT forever, like for like 7-8 years. Let's put him up there. It just kind of does feel like it's a little forced. And obviously with pro wrestling, nobody likes anything kind of forced down their throat. Because like the matches are fine. They're fine. Like I just don't think there was enough time to really showcase them like together. Yeah, we saw those vignettes like, hey, you're not Butch. We should go back. I don't know. There should have been a little bit more. Obviously the Brawling Brutes, I think they were great. They just kind of fizzled out. Obviously, Sheamus not being there hurt him a lot. I think that's what it all came down to. It just feels like it was a little forced, and it is what it is.
So our field is set. New Catch Republic joins a New Day, Judgment Day, Awesome Truth, Waller and Theory, and D1I in that 6-time ladder match. And we saw a little bit before today, Issa, about how Judgment Day feels like this WrestleMania is something they have to win. You got Mr. Senor Money in the Bank. You got the tag team match. You got Rhea's match. You got Dom's match. I mean, if you were a betting person, would you bet on Judgment Day this WrestleMania?
All my money.
That's it. No doubt in your mind.
No, unless JD gets involved in anything.
Oh, yeah, JD. Fair enough. I mean, okay. Does Priest cash in at all? I mean, Money in the Bank is like in 2 months.
I think it's gonna come down to, which I'm assuming, because we're getting I'm assuming we're gonna get both world title matches on night 2. Mm-hmm. I think if you're not gonna have him cash in, then you gotta beat him up real good on the ladder match, do the ladder match on night 1, because I do think that people are expecting it. However, I also feel like people are forgetting that this guy has until July 1st. We still have months. Still have months. So I love the idea of having this panic button that you can push for the next couple of months if something goes awry or something needs to happen. And the world title pictures on both ends is just so stacked with all these people that it's like, where does Damian Priest play a part here? But I was team Damian Priest. I said it here all over the place. I wanted him to win the briefcase. I want to see a successful cashing. I don't know if we can afford to have another botch cashing, another failed cashing. So if the recipe is to wait, then why not? There's a part of me that wants Seth Rollins, one of my favorites too, to have a piece of his own medicine. Why not get cashed in on at WrestleMania and see how it feels? So, we saw Paul Heyman. There's just so many elements, and that's why this WrestleMania is so exciting, as I was mentioning earlier. It's unpredictable. You don't know what could happen. I will tell you one thing. I use a website that predicts the dates over on my YouTube channel, and I literally asked, this was months ago, true story, my chat can let you know in the chat. I asked, hey, when is Damian Priest cashing in? And I put the date from that date up until the day that it expires. It literally landed on April 6th. No joke. Whoa. And I was like, if that happens, I have the clips. If that happens, I'm going to put it everywhere and be like, hey, listen, this website might have been legit. But I don't know. I don't know. I want his cashing to be successful. Yeah. And I think it will be cool to see Seth Rollins. Like, I have a whole theory. We can get into that later, that Seth is going to lose everything at Mania and he's going to be the one that turns on Cody. That's how I will play it. So it would be cool to see that happen to him, especially with him bragging all over social media about how the cashing happened today.
You can imagine if Seth fights on night one, loses the world title, and Drew McIntyre's like, do I fight Damian Priest now? What do I do on Sunday? That'd be kind of cool, actually.
I think that, I think that Seth, to build the theory that I built in my brain, because I'm a big Seth Rollins fan, but I just like him more as a heel. That run that he had back in 2015, that was this Seth. And I feel like if Seth takes the pin on night one, because you're not going to pin Cody, you're not going to pin your main event on night two, right? So let's say the Bloodline wins. I feel like Seth takes the pin and he gets so beat up that he goes into his Drew McIntyre match, beat up, and loses the title. And I feel that he's going to have that moment where he's like, it costed me everything to back up Cody and that does nothing to me. Boom, I'm going to cost Cody everything. And I think that if that was the case, if somebody was to turn on Cody, I think the heat will be crazy because so many people want him to finish the story. Even though the story's never been about him, it's always been about Roman and the Bloodline. But
don't finish the story. Hey, finish the story. Yeah,
he has a problem finishing. They have medicines for that. Anyways, so many people.
Yeah, they should take the big D over to get the medicine.
So many people have been wanting to finish the story. I feel like the person that said that is going to have a lot of heat, and I don't know that somebody could handle it better than a heel Seth Rollins. But that's just me fantasizing getting that Seth Rollins back because it was so good. It will be nice to see it again.
Yeah, I'm with you. George, man, this whole cash-in thing, the Judgment Day thing, I mean, do you think they're going to come out on top or not? Or
Dominic and Santos is going to win. Mm-hmm. So that's one Judgment Day winning. Rhea Ripley is going to win. That's another one. Finn Balor and Damian Priest are going to lose.
Oh,
Cap.
It's about like Lizzo said, it's about damn time.
Cap. That means I.
You know who said that on TV? AJ Styles, and he was on today's show.
I love that you understood the reference. Yes.
Because I was like, all right, Grandpa Styles, calm down.
I play that clip on my streams all the time. It's one of my favorite moments.
Heck yeah, man. That's a deep cut, y'all. So he comes out because he was basically saying, hey, look, I'll make sure that LA Knight's in the stadium, in the arena. Nick Aldis says, I try, totally being reckless and allowing them to show up. Of course, LA Knight shows up wearing a wig, beats him up with everybody saying, LA Knight, you're out. George, let me start with you. LA Knight has a chance to put down the phenomenal AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Does he get the job done?
1000%, but what a waste of a segment this was.
Tell me.
It's just, so it's like AJ Styles is like, hey, Nick Aldis, make sure that LA Knight's not here, whatever, right? So he comes out and it's like, so he comes out to the arena and he says, all right, LA Knight, where are you? Where are you at? Are you under the ring? Are you one of the cameramen? I don't know. Why don't you not come out there to begin with, right? Like if you already are expecting LA Knight to come out, then why are you going to come out as it's kind of come out as like a target? Like I get it. Like we haven't seen LA Knight in front of a crowd in a while. I just thought it was a weird segment. I didn't get it. I didn't get why AJ Styles had to come out. It's not like he had a match scheduled. It'd be one thing if he did have a match scheduled, and then after the match he says, "All right, LA Knight, where you at?" Things like that. But he just came out just for the sake of coming out. And it's like, well, maybe don't come out then, and maybe LA Knight won't attack you, out in the middle of the ring, or outside of the ring, obviously. I just thought it was weird. I just thought the execution of it was weird.
Gaps of logic. Thoughts about the segment and thoughts about the match at WrestleMania?
First of all, AJ Styles should always come out and show that beautiful hair of his. He's looking jacked. This guy went to his house, bro. Wendy was there. So of course he had to come out and say something.
Wendy.
Shout out to Wendy.
I had a little chuckle. Maybe call me silly. I had a little chuckle when LA Knight was just standing there. He should have stayed in costume though, you know. But anyways, yeah, LA Knight. Ever since the Real Rock came back, it's just not the same, you know, because it's been kind of exposed. Go
You know-
AJ Styles. I got AJ Styles winning all the way.
You know what? I hear the chatter about LA Knight being a ripoff of Stone Cold, a ripoff of The Rock. And
What?
No. Yeah. That's
What?
Yeah. I get that, but I will say this: the last time I went to a live show was last month at Elimination Chamber, and besides the hometown wrestlers of Grayson Waller and Rhea Ripley, everyone under the age of 18 was an LA Knight fan. I realized it's for the kids. It's like the reboot being for the next generation. So I'm okay with it, but I get it too. You know? No. All right.
Me too. No. Again, I'm a big LA Knight fan. Obviously, me and you, Flobo, have had conversations about being a bit LA Knight fan, going back to even back in his California days, where
Mach 1 Wrestling.
He wrestled as Sean Ricker. So we're big fans. Again, I just thought the execution of it was a little weird. I love seeing LA Knight in front of a crowd. I think it's been a while since he actually had kind of a strong crowd reaction. They come out, a lot of backstage segments, a lot of in-house, I guess you can say. So yeah, I really hope that this means the next level for LA Knight after he beats AJ Styles at WrestleMania 40.
What is the next level for LA Knight? He already got smashed by the Tribal Chief. What is he gonna do? What?
Because Roman Reigns
for the
not
United
gonna
States champion.
he's not going to be the champion after WrestleMania 40. That's why.
He is, and it doesn't matter. What is he gonna do? He already went to the top and failed.
You can say the same thing with
might as
Steve
well
Austin.
use this match to build AJ
Steve
Styles,
Austin
who hasn't had a world championship match in forever. Sorry, I'm not part of your lame club. LA Knight is lame.
Steve Austin had a world title match in May of 1997 against The Undertaker when he was on the hottest streak after WrestleMania 13, and he lost. Does that mean that it was over for him?
I don't know. I wasn't watching wrestling.
You have a point, but I'm sorry I'm not part of your lame club. It should be a t-shirt. Dear Lord.
That should be a t-shirt.
Let's talk about, well, I will say this as a bias thing. My first time doing ring announcing, it was a natural selection match. That was Brian Cage and Sean Ricker when they're tagging. And
Shout out to John Ian.
Yeah, shout out to John Ian. Rest in peace, man. Gave my first job in wrestling. And I remember meeting Sean after the match, and he said they did a good job. So I'm always biased for LA Knight. So I would totally him and Carmelo.
And the best thing about LA Knight is he had the same character like 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's always been over. It's always been over. Dummy, yeah. Dummy, yeah.
The dummy buddy. All right, let's get to our main event. Bianca Belair finally gets the chance of revenge. We're taking on Dakota Kai of Damage Control, the presumptive leader, it seems, of that group right now. The match itself
so early, Flobo.
Yeah, what do you mean?
It didn't give you advice that something was gonna happen. I was like, they're not gonna go for 20 minutes. I knew we're gonna get an ending segment.
I thought it would have been Bailey though. I was like, oh, it's gonna be Bailey.
She was at the Performance Center.
Yeah. No, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and LA Knight was off tonight. Well, what we got was actually a pretty cool matchup, and Bianca's definitely in WrestleMania form. But it's what happened after the storm. Jade Cargill comes out after Naomi comes out, and we have ourselves some gang warfare beatdown action. Damage Control on one side, Bianca and Naomi and Jade on the other side. This is what you people wanted, right, Issa?
I didn't know that I needed this. And seeing them standing there together, I was like, it was just too good. It's like, how do you compete with that? Like, look at the level, the caliber of these performers that you have there. Jay looks like $1 million. I think this is the best way to protect her. Let's see how ready she is. But if she's not ready, why put her on a one-on-one match where you still have her at WrestleMania? Should this turn into, because they haven't made it official yet, right? Mm-hmm. But she's standing next to Bianca Belair and Naomi, and it was a visual for the ages. Like, it's gonna live in my head rent free. Like, I just absolutely love seeing them. By the way, I love the match between Bianca and Dakota. I don't want to take away from that because I actually thought they had great chemistry and they killed it. Bianca is just absolutely incredible. But I just like, yeah, there was a part of me that was like, oh, I want a solo match. Then there was a part of me like, why doesn't Bianca have a match? Then there's a part of me that be like, save it for after Mania. Mania is selling well. We have all these matches. And then I saw the three of them there, and it was one of those moments, Flo, when I was like, I didn't know that I wanted this, but I need it now. And it will turn into something. But I don't want her first feud to be Bianca. I didn't want her first feud to be Naomi. So seeing them work together is just like, it feels like almost like what happened with Roman and The Rock, right? Like where it was like, my dream match for Roman is The Rock. It's always been. I've been saying that for years. So when that got taken away from me, I was a little bit salty. And now seeing them work together, I was like, wait, I never saw it from this perspective. I still think we'll get the match. But getting the opportunity to see them work together for a little bit has been... The Rock acknowledging Roman Reigns, whether he turns at WrestleMania or not, is a moment that I would have, right?
That was a classic moment.
Yeah, that happened to me tonight, seeing the three of them just standing there, where I was just like, oh my God, like this is like, you cannot, there's just, yeah. When Jay came out earlier and said, we have the best women's division in the world, and then you see the caliber standing there, you're like, okay, she's no cap, no lies told, you know? So, yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see how they work together, and I cannot wait to see when it all falls apart.
Before I ask your response, George, this kind of actually confirmed from the WWE WrestleMania account. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Trinity Fatu Naomi will be taking on Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Kinkoda at WrestleMania 40. It is official. And
it's so good too. Before you keep going, sorry to interrupt, but it's like I thought they were gonna do something like Naomi and Bianca versus Kairi and Asuka for the tag team titles. Like they always just throw together two people just to put the tag team titles on the line. This is better because of what Naomi and Bianca did backstage earlier, which she was like, "No, we have to unite and take them down." Oh, it's just perfect. It's just perfect. They've done such a good job. I'm gonna stop now.
I agree with you because I didn't want Jade Cargill in the weakest division in SmackDown. Now, I'm not saying the people in the women's tag is weak. I'm saying the actual competitors that can do it. Mr. 412 says...
I completely agree with Mr. 412.
Mr. 412 says, Kairi Sane, thank you so much for super chat, by the way, says Kairi Sane's expression when Jane did her finisher didn't look right. It didn't look like she wanted to sell her finisher. George, talk to me about the match. Jade Cargill, the stare down, everything.
The match was great. I want you to answer me this, Flobo.
Me?
Who called this scenario exactly 1 week ago?
I was gonna say you. Oh, okay.
This guy.
I had no idea.
But my question is, well, you were right there. I think you were on the other side of the
streamer.
Okay. But let me ask you this, because we talked about it last week, and how I pretty much thought this was exactly how it's going to go down, and you said, I mean, I don't see it. Like you weren't against the match, you just didn't see how they were going to evolve into the match.
Absolutely.
With that said, do you think that they did a better job into making, how the match came about?
Okay, so if you really want me to answer questions, which I almost never do when I'm hosting these things, I will say that it was it's the second best scenario. Jade is presented as an absolute beast. I would much rather have a storyline going into a pay-per-view, not necessarily WrestleMania. That's number one. But if you put in a tag team match, it's instantly dead on arrival because the women's tag team division is completely flat. Isla Dawn just turned the Chelsea Green backstage this week. So I was a little concerned with that. But a 6-person tag makes it a little bit different. Makes it an attraction. You get to have the spots in there. It actually has a certain kind of stakes because of what Damage Control does. It's outside the tag team division. I'm okay with it. So it's a plan B for me, but I love it.
And especially pretty much how the match is going to go. Like, she ain't taking the heat. But Jade Cargill is going to get the hot tag, and she is going to wreak havoc all over Damage Control, and I am all for it. That pop-up little powerbomb that she did on Dakota Kai was freaking impressive. And I want to see what she's going to be able to do in a full-on match, and I think she is going to impress everyone. Even more so than she's impressed what we've seen so far in AEW.
I'm gonna ask you an old man question. This is an old wrestling fan question. This is like a Glenn Rubinson question. But I feel like there was some pressure there. We've seen giants get pushed, talking about like Giant Gonzalez or Brackus or those guys, and say this next big thing. Is the same pressure there with Jade? I know we know she's a star. We think she can work in WWE. All the tools are there, but is there a fear that she may flop when she gets on the main roster, or I'm just being all doomy and gloomy?
No, I mean, there's always a fear. Obviously, we just talked about it like half an hour ago about Karrion Cross. I mean, when he first showed up in NXT, we thought he was a killer, we thought he was a machine. We thought he was going to, oh man, I can't wait to see this entrance at a WrestleMania. Can't wait till he shows up to the main roster. And now he's on the main roster. He's been on the main roster like, what, twice already? And we saw the first time, for the first time went around. Now we're for the second time. He's still not getting a good reaction as far as people in the crowd and people, like us. So there's always that fear. But I think she's got a great system around her. I think she knows, what she's in for, and she's got again some just flat out. And again, nothing against AEW. This is not a knock on AEW, but she truly has some of the best minds, literally around her on a regular basis, and they're going to do everything that they can, especially with some of the. And again, not a knock, but like especially with a lot of the comments we heard earlier this week about Becky Lynch and about Ronda Rousey, about how Ronda didn't know how to wrestle, she wasn't a good wrestler, but she was always protected, in her environments. And not to say that Jade is on the level of Ronda or vice versa, but we know she's in good hands. Whether she needs it or not, we know she's in good hands. So I think the pressure is there in a good way, and I really think she's going to deliver.
Issa, you got the best eye for knowing who's a star. Jade is a star through and through, but what can't you do to stick out? And a roster that's crowded, that's getting
just
bigger.
Show up. Just show up.
Yeah.
Are you Issa, sir?
I think she can. I actually had a conversation with her and other people about how the wrestling landscape has changed, and she's not the only big muscular woman there. Yes, she has the oozing of a star, but she's not the only one. Like back in the day when we had China, for example, she was the only one that looked that way. No, Rhea is in that category. Bianca's in that category, right? So you're not coming in to be wearing AW. I'm sorry, but she did. She was the only one that looked that way. I don't feel that way about her here. So she does oozes the star power. She's 101, but she does have to show out. However, I do think she's in good hands, and I do think they're not gonna. I think that Triple H knows the investment, knows what could be, and he's not gonna put her out there unless we're ready. And even if we're gonna do it, we're gonna make sure that we are protecting her, which is why I'm not against this trios match. When I originally was like, no, let her like be on her own. I love her Rumble appearance. It was perfect to just tease us with her at the Rumble because of how the Rumble goes. You don't have to put on a full match there, right? My main critique of Jade in AEW was just her in-ring skills that they could never improve because of the people she was going against. They also never put her against a real contender, right? So I think that having her work with the people that she can take in the most outside of what she's doing at the Performance Center on her own, like Bianca came into WWE not being a wrestler since day one. And look at her now. She's one of the best to ever freaking do it. So if you have the right training and the person is motivated, which I believe she is, the sky's the limit. I do not doubt Jade, and I think they're gonna handle with care because they know what they have in her.
It's probably a hot take, but I never appreciated Jade Cargill's TBS title run. If you make her a star, have her in the big pool. Don't put her on Rampage and be like, you're fine. You have a title.
I appreciate that you're saying that because I was very critical of this undefeated streak against a bunch. I couldn't tell you right now outside of Chris Statlander, people that she beat. You know what I mean?
She didn't even beat Chris Statlander.
Right, correct. But that's the thing, right? That's the match that I remember because her last match was a gem, and that's the one that she lost. She didn't go out on top, but that's the thing. You can't even remember who she beat. The top names in AEW, she never even interacted with, and that drove me crazy. Like, they fumbled that bag because she looked the part. It was just a matter of really just putting the investment and the time into her, and that's what WWE does. Every time that they know they have this kind of potential, they're gonna make sure that they're prepared. They had the resources there. If you don't make it, I will feel like that's on you at this point, right? Like what you mentioned with Ronda and her MMA background. Now what we're hearing from Becky, I don't know. Like, you know what? I don't want to speculate. Right. So, but I feel like when they're invested in you, they're gonna make sure that you have everything that you need. And if they're not gonna throw you out there to swim without teaching you how to swim first.
Right. Are you in favor of Evolution 2, or have we moved past that? Because I feel like I want to see Evolution 2. I feel like I get.
Okay. I went to Evolution 1. It was one of my favorite pay-per-views ever attended. The vibe was different. I just I needed to come naturally. I don't need it to feel forced. Like, I love that. I love the experience. It will forever be in my heart. You know, I'm a big advocate of women's wrestling, but Evolution came at the same time that they were traveling to Saudi Arabia and the women weren't even allowed to go there. And that always lives in the back of my head. I want an evolution to happen because the women's division is so good. They earned it. You know what I mean? Not because, like, let's just this pay-per-view here so people don't think about this other thing that we're doing. And they're flowers. The freaking progress they have made in the wrestling in Saudi Arabia and how we went from not even allowing them to travel there to having matches there. Like, it's incredible the progress that they have made. But Evolution, I feel like it did came because of that. We also had the wrong people main eventing, but that's a whole different story.
Oh, that was the right main event on for that card.
I let them Becky needed to main event.
Clearly, somebody was not a fan of Total Divas. But yeah, I'd love to see it, but it's one of those where I can't or miss. Where what is it that the women want? Do they want to be, Because I remember I was listening to Sonya Deville in an interview one time, and she said what she wants for women's wrestling is for not for it to be an attraction, for it to just kind of fit in. Like TNA does an amazing job at just everything just kind of merging together as far as the men's and the women's division, as far as like, oh yeah, I didn't notice that the women's main evented today because it just comes natural. Like you don't have to think about it. So it's if they want that, then you can't have Evolution, because then you're just gonna kind of showcase that like, oh, they don't main event enough the regular shows, so we got to give them this. It's just a matter of what they want. Would I like to see it? I would. I think the first pay-per-view was amazing. I love Salute by Little Mix. I thought that was a perfect song for the first. I think that was a perfect song for the first Evolution. So it's just a matter of what it is that they want. I think they should ask the women, if you guys want this, just know it's going to look like, we're giving you this because maybe not enough women main event, but just maybe have women main event. I like the fact that tonight's main event was Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I remember how big of a deal they used to make when the women main event, where now it just feels natural. And I love that.
Yeah.
But the thing about your take, and not to go like against what you said, but
you could
selling Evolution to the Total Divas viewers is exactly what was wrong with Evolution. Evolution should have been because the women kick ass and they can wrestle. Just saying.
No, I'm not.
People that want Total Divas are not tuning into Raw and SmackDown. Trust me.
Well, they should. No, I felt that should be additional. I feel like if they're ever brought back Evolution, it'll be in addition to, say, the NXT being split 50-50. And then I don't do this anymore, but a couple of years ago, they had like those like special pay-per-views like Smackville or Starrcade or like an extra one in the calendar. That'd be kind of cool, like Worlds Collide kind of a thing. But I don't know. I'm just speculating. I just thought it was a cool
I love
match.
Tournaments too. I love tournaments. So obviously a big match for Evolution was a culmination of the Main Classic too. So yeah, maybe I'd like to see that come back at some point,
Oh yeah, the May Classic. Yeah, it's 2 times and done. All right. Well, hey, Nate. Nah, not cool. All right. This does it for us on the SmackDown After Show. We are 8 days away from WrestleMania. Hall of Fame is going to be 7 days away, where Paul Heyman leads a class of Hall of Fame luminaries and dignitaries. We'll be back to discuss that at the same time next week. Isa, are you going to go to the Hall of Fame next Friday?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Are you covering the interviews and all that stuff too? Can I get in? Can I get some like cool hors d'oeuvres? Help me out. We're buddies,
we have
right?
the Junket Day. It's Friday during the day, and then at night we have Hall of Fame. So we'll be doing some interviews.
Can I get this program, but for the next week for WrestleMania 30? This is my one for WrestleMania 31, and then you flip it over. It's a program for WrestleMania 31.
Wow. 31 is again the one I always forget about. 31. I always forget about.
How can you forget about 31? The problem with 31 was like the finishes were. I mean, I love the main event, obviously with the cash in, but it was a weird paper.
Yeah, everyone's like the heist of the century. I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Oh God, you good, bro?
Yeah,
wow.
Okay.
On the flip side, one of my favorites is 26, which is one everyone forgets. Bad streak for his career.
You know what people forget about 31 is that Brock and Roman were putting on a freaking brilliant banger before even the cashing, and everybody talks about the cashing, and nobody freaking talks about the match. That I gotta tell you something. When Brock was slapping Roman and Roman laughed about it, that is the sexiest thing I've ever seen.
More than Randy Orton's legs?
Yeah.
All right. And that brought the show full circle. Isa, Hey, so everyone wants to follow you online. You got some things going on, man. Where can people find you?
Yeah, of course. You guys can find me NYC Diva Diva across all socials, YouTube, getting really close to 25,000 subscribers. We love if you guys subscribe. I will be here in Puerto Rico, WWC tomorrow. We have an event. I'm going to be there doing all the backstage interview for WWC. Ryan Nemeth is here tomorrow. He's going to compete for a title. And then next week, you guys, I will not be on Wrestling Inc. because I'll be traveling over to Philly. So stay tuned to me and Lucha Libre Online for all of the good content that I'm going to be bringing you from WrestleMania on site. Please be ready to bail me out when I troll everybody after Roman Reigns retains. I'm going to be unbearable. You've been warned.
I did a show at Ryan Neiman once. Funny guy. He's a character.
He's the best.
Yeah. George, man, I mean, you're kind of new in the mix of the Wrestling Inc. fold. If you're not reading books between shows, where can people find you?
I trained with Ryan Nemeth one time in the ring out in Burbank one time.
We can say this on the air. Yeah, you actually wrestle. Isn't that cool? All right, go ahead. I
should wrestle more.
You should say it more that you are wrestling. Okay.
Hey, can you get me a booking at WWC?
I can't get you anything. I can't get you a soda.
I was not talking to you, Flobo Boyce.
Fine.
Yeah, tell them if they want to bring a Peruvian flavor up to Puerto Rico. Yeah, you can follow me at G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. You can follow my YouTube channel. I got close to 2,000 subscribers, not as close as 25, but it's a little something. I'm getting a nice little $5 every month from YouTube. I got an interview with Scotty Riggs on tap. Did that a couple days ago, so can't wait to put it together and showcase and show it to all you guys. An exclusive interview with the American male, Scotty Riggs. But in the meantime, follow me at G Hermoza, GHERMOZA on Instagram and Twitter.
Please do that. And we'll be back here Monday at Wrestling Inc. channel for the Monday Night Raw after show. It's officially WrestleMania week. I'm not sure what you guys are doing, but I can't afford to do anything else. I'll be at home here in Los Angeles. But until next time, yes, boy.